Hey, what's up guys, Rep here. So another day and another Sweet Baby Inc. related video. Now over the past couple of days, this situation has evolved way beyond just Sweet Baby Inc. And this has grown into the video game industry as a whole, but in particular a new development where gaming journalists are finally starting to talk about this situation. Now this user observes a common thing that happens on my channel. It's my curse. Whenever I do a video that's covering everything up to date on a situation, something new tends to pop up within an hour of releasing my video, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. We talked about some updates regarding statements made by the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., and I ended the video on this observation that basically up until that point, no gaming journalist source had mentioned anything about this Sweet Baby Inc. situation, despite the fact it would bring them a lot of clicks. However, as I released that video, we got a news source that finally talked about it, and it was Kotaku entering the fray with their own article covering the Sweet Baby Inc. situation. Now, of course, if you don't know Kotaku, it's not very surprising that they would speak about this. And if you don't know them, basically the way Kotaku works, they are a monetized humiliation fetish. Basically, for years, the only way they can get any clicks on their articles is to make intentionally inflammatory or just flat out wrong articles where people go there, the main traffic is just to point and laugh at them. But anyways, this is the article and everyone's been talking about this. It is titled, Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what some gamers think it does. No, one company isn't forcing diversity into all your favorite video games. Now, I think in this situation, we have the opportunity to do something that is very valuable, and that is look at the author of this article before we get into it to understand any sort of biases they might have and other viewpoints that might be clouding their judgment. And we can see the author is this person, Alyssa, who of course is a senior editor at Kotaku, which already makes them pretty biased in many different ways. But let's see their main tweet sharing this article that got a lot of people talking. It said, I spoke to the team at Sweet Baby and infiltrated the Discord group rallying against them. Yes, she infiltrated an open public Discord server. But this is where things got very messy. In the replies to that tweet, she said this, Hi, you can't be racist against white people. Thanks for tuning in. She really channeled her inner Uki Violetta on this one. But of course, this would spark a lot of controversy because treating someone poorly based on the color of their skin is not a good thing, and people can recognize that. But this reflects a lot of bad attitudes that this person has towards people based on their race. And this tweet was made a few days ago, which is a very ironic one because it says, I maintain that most people who are shitty / aggressive / racist / sexist / otherwise terrible online have yet to get their asses beat IRL, and they should. Besides the fact this is a threat that breaks Twitter's TOS, this is ironic because this tweet would apply to not only Sweet Baby Inc. employees and other gaming journalists, but it would apply to themselves because not only their comment about white people that we just saw, but here's some other club bangers from their account. This one saying, more white people need to get their ass beat on the reg. Another violent threat glorifying violence against people based on the color of their skin. Here's another one saying, I am here to save the video game industry from bad style. It's been run by crusty cis white dudes for far too long. I am your salvation. Yes, the overt narcissism is hardly surprising from a Kotaku employee, but they have this complex about older white men, and I think that's a lot of projection. But here's another one saying, being ageist is bad, except when it's about old white dudes in games journalism. So not only do they discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, they will also discriminate based on your age, which is another thing that I guess this person supports, and Kotaku as a proxy must be supporting as well. But of course, their tweet, their reply to their main article would get hit with a community note saying racism isn't limited to marginalized or minority racist / ethnic groups. It is simply the unfair treatment of people who belong to a different / specific race, which can in fact include white people. Now, of course, facing this backlash, initially Alyssa would mock all of the people angry at her, making this tweet saying, I am happy, and that makes them mad. And then 2 seconds later, she would private her account and run away and play the victim. But of course, the article is still up and it's still being shared by Kotaku, so that gives us the chance to go in and look at what Alyssa had to say about this Sweet Baby Inc. situation. So it starts off by saying Sweet Baby Inc. is not the largest narrative design company in the games industry, nor is it solely responsible for the characters and stories in recent high-profile releases like Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, but good luck telling some gamers that. So of course it's pretty ironic that they're trying to downplay the role of Sweet Baby Inc. in the industry, and then also the next sentence turn around and show their impact on the industry. And of course, yeah, we see Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. We've been talking about that a lot, and a lot of people have been using this as a reference for Sweet Baby Inc.'s involvement with that game because it's an abject failure. Even Warner Bros. Has come out and said it was greatly underperforming and a big hit financially for them. In fact, right now, only a month after its release, the average active player count is in the 200s most of the day. Very bad stuff. But going forward, the article goes on and says, late last month, one of the company's consultants discovered a Steam group dedicated to detecting games that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on. The purpose? To encourage people to avoid those games because the group had deemed SBI was pushing a woke agenda by working toward greater diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Steam group now has over 100,000 followers in its own Discord that boasts nearly 2,000 members. But this ire against Sweet Baby Inc. and DEI initiatives in general isn't new. An October 2023 Kiwi Farms post shared similar sentiments, stating that the company's involvement in Remedy Awards' award-winning 2023 action game Alan Wake 2 was possibly one of the biggest scandals in gaming history, which is a bit of a deflection towards the main focus of what's been going on this past week, and that is the attacks and the lashing back that Sweet Baby Inc. employees have been having towards this Steam group, which, like I've always said, says a lot about these employees. Why would you be threatened by someone discovering the games that you've worked on? You should be proud of the things that you worked on. Why would you be concerned that people are finding out your involvement with these games? Honestly, the best way they could have handled the situation as Sweet Baby Inc. is to either ignore this Steam group because, of course, paying attention to it had the Streisand effect and made it very popular, or they could have simply said, yep, those are the games we worked on and we're very proud of them. But they didn't do that. Instead, they lashed out and led a harassment campaign against the group and its owner, and it backfired horribly. But the article goes on and says, the conversation around Sweet Baby Inc. has ignited a fundamentally misinformed Gamergate-esque firestorm. Its employees have faced rampant harassment as a direct result. Interesting, when you consider the fact that this entire thing was started by an employee of Sweet Baby Inc. This individual right here made a post calling out the Steam group, who was minding its own business and simply tracking the publicly available list of games that they had worked on, the company had worked on. And they led this harassment campaign, leading their followers to report this group and direct harassment towards its owner. Going back to the article, it says, what bad actors think companies like Sweet Baby Inc. do? The games industry has had its fair share of struggles lately, from massive layoffs to wildly expensive games like Suicide Squad falling short of expectations. According to the loudest members of the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Discord, the company is directly responsible for those failures, not the studios that employed them in the first place, because of the content Sweet Baby allegedly forces into games. Now, this is very important for people like Alyssa to understand. Yes, people are blaming Sweet Baby Inc. for part of the failure of games like Suicide Squad due to their involvement. But they're also blaming companies like Rocksteady for the failure as well. They're blaming all the parties involved, not only for hiring people like Sweet Baby Inc. in the first place, which is a bad decision on their behalf, but also they're doing their own mistakes in the process. And if you look at the mission statement in the About section of Sweet Baby Inc., this idea of diversification being forced, it's literally in their statement. That is their goal as a company. It's right there on display, but not anymore, as people have observed. Sweet Baby Inc. has changed their mission statement. This is something that's happened in the past 24 hours. They have completely changed their publicly available mission statement, and they have outright removed any mention of diversifying games. They are trying to gaslight you. They are pulling the rug, changing the statement, and trying to make you sound like you're making up things by saying they're trying to add diversification to games. That was in their mission statement. That was the purpose of their company. And now they're trying to gaslight you into thinking that was never the case. But the article goes on to say, on March 5th, I managed to spend an hour or so in the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Discord before I was booted from the space. Likely because I identified myself as a Kotaku journalist. Man, I imagine who would believe that someone would want to kick a Kotaku journalist out of their Discord server? Nobody wants a journalist in general in their Discord server where they're just trying to track these games and also socialize with one another. And they definitely don't want someone from Kotaku, obviously has an agenda, being there in the first place. But they go on to say, in it, members shared posts referencing Feminist Frequency founder Anita Sarkeesian, Marcus Aurelius quotes, and pictures of idealized female bodies in games. One image showed several pictures of the protagonist Eve from Korean developer Shift Up's upcoming action game Stellar Blade, juxtaposed against female characters from Overwatch, Forspoken, and Life is Strange. Embrace tradition, reject modernity is emblazoned on the collage. And I can't imagine why people would make collages like this. But this whole idea of people rejecting these female characters, that's what Anita Sarkeesian was doing for years. She doesn't care about diversification as long as it's not following the rules of what she wants. Because you have characters like Samus from Metroid, who is a female lead that people loved. She rejected that character because she thought that it was being sexualized with some small in-game Easter eggs, and that was just, well, the reason to write off characters like that. So she's been doing the same thing that you're trying to accuse this Discord server of doing, and that's not really surprising. But it continues on saying almost 2K members, there are already a bunch of infiltrated people here screenshotting everything. They infiltrated this server. It is a publicly open Discord server that literally anyone can join. They did not infiltrate this like they snuck into North Korea or something. It's an open Discord server. This is nothing to brag about. They even included this language, like we saw earlier, in their tweet promoting the article. It's really weird. They're trying to make themselves look like they're these risk-taking heroes going into this Discord server. But in terms of what she did in this Discord server, yeah, people are taking screenshots of you. Because here's some of the things that Alyssa was trying to do. She was trying to get quotes from people and interview people. But most concerning is this section right here where she says, is there a reason why many of you don't have your names/pictures associated with your accounts on here? Basically, she wants the private information, people's legal names, and their pictures for whatever purpose that she has. That certainly could be nefarious, because why would anyone want to give this information over to a Kotaku journalist? But moving forward, here's the next section saying, Sweet Baby Inc. is enforcing diversity. It's happening naturally. Though these kinds of social media posts argue that companies like Sweet Baby Inc. somehow force game studios to include diverse characters and storylines, the reality is vastly different. Well, here's some interactions between some employees of Rocksteady Games responsible for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Kim Belair, the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., where they straight up changed a character from one race to black for the simple purposes of bragging about it on Twitter, where Kim then applauds them and shows that she was somehow involved in that decision, which is literally the exact definition of forced diversity. I don't really know what else you could say that would disprove what just happened there, but there it is. But going forward, the article continues saying, after chatting with Sweet Baby Inc., I returned to my Discord DM with one of the members of the group rallying against them. With the help of Belair's own words, I explained what SBI actually does, its core focus on narrative work, and how DEI is only a small part of their remit. He wouldn't budge. With all due respect, it really just seems like the same thing to me, but just a bit more hands-on in the writing process. The end goal is to insert DEI type stuff into the project they are working on. And honestly, we can trust the words of the CEO Belair because she has made her mission statements many times publicly known in a clip that we watched yesterday. So basically, if you don't remember, she outright says, if these companies don't want to work with people like us, just remind them that they can be canceled. Threaten them with the possibility of being canceled publicly. This was a clip that we watched yesterday, and it really goes to show the strong arming that companies like Sweet Baby Inc. are doing to get these companies in the gaming industry to hire them out of fear of cancel culture. But going on, here are the replies to the article, and it really sums up the absolute echo chamber that exists on Kotaku's website, where this is some of the highest upvoted comments. One person saying, you know what? Even if they were pushing a woke agenda, I'd be fine with that. That tells you how disingenuous these people really are. They don't actually care about any of this stuff. They are totally fine with these narratives being inserted, and don't let them convince you that that's not the case. But responding to that, this person said, I'm still annoyed about how woke has been taken out of context for agendas in the first place. Pretty much anything that doesn't follow US segregation-era societal standards and stereotypes will be labeled woke, as long as it doesn't match the preferences of the echo chamber dwelling idiots. Projection, to say the least. But of course, I am sure these people have absolutely no comment to say about the racist comments of Sweet Baby Inc. employees as well as Kotaku journalists, but again, not surprising. But also, as this article has come out, members of the industry, including a lot of game journalists, have come out to support this article and Alyssa. So here's another person saying, in light of growing harassment, I want to remind all my friends and peers that I love you, I respect you, and I've got your back. There's more of us than them. They're just louder, meaner, and less intelligent. Wow, that's very dehumanizing to say. Take breaks when you gotta, but stay put. You deserve to be here. What about people like this? Are these individuals going to address some of the Sweet Baby Inc. employees, like this Lego Butts individual who has gone on tirades against white people in these collages that we've seen over the past couple of videos, or their comments about other races where they use racial slurs directed at black people, homophobic slurs, and anti-Semitic remarks like the tweet at the bottom there? Do they have anything to say about people like this? Absolutely not, because that's just one of their people on their side of their agenda, so they would never attack someone like this. But here's another member of the industry saying this tweet, sharing a whole thread breaking down some of the criticisms of Sweet Baby Inc. This is something people were talking about on Twitter a few days ago, but then people would stop and say, wait a second, who is this? They are a game writer, best-selling author, and a narrative director on Wolverine, an upcoming game, right? Okay, interesting. Let's see some of their thoughts about the relevant situations. So in the replies to one of her tweets, this individual said, you can't be racist to white idiots like yourself, but you can't be racist to white non-idiots either. You can't be racist to whites, period. Now, if you look at the likes on this tweet, who do you see? You see this narrative director. Now, this is a crazy assumption I'm going to make here, but aren't you a bit concerned about this person who hates white people working on a game that features a main protagonist who's a white man? Do you have any concerns that might bleed into the narrative writing direction of that game? Yeah, I think you're putting blinders on if you don't see the risk involved in a situation like that and how it can affect the story and its integrity. But going forward, there's more members of the industry responding to Alyssa's initial tweet before she went private. This individual saying, thank you for writing this. No, the people yelling about Sweet Baby have largely closed their ears to the truth of it, but I think it matters to acknowledge the hate on record like this. Of course, ignoring everything the Sweet Baby Inc. employees have been doing themselves. But you look at this person's account and ding, 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 they are a games journalist at IGN, which is hardly surprising. So we await the slop that they're going to make chiming in on the situation, or maybe they're just going to let Kotaku take all of the shots and the brunt of the criticism, but that's yet to be seen. And of course, as always with this entire situation, other commentators are collecting lists of people who are not only involved with Sweet Baby Inc., but also Sweet Baby Inc.-esque consultation companies that are having a similar effect, as well as other journalists and other platforms that are supporting Sweet Baby Inc. and those like them. And I think that is the most important thing to look at moving forward, because we need to identify all of these bad actors in the space and understand just how far their connection goes in this industry. And that's the only way we can ever hope to start fixing things. But for now, that is the situation. I'm sure as soon as this video goes live, something else is going to happen. I'm going to be behind once again, but that's just the way it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.